Welcome, guys. Welcome. This is our annual home seller seminar, and we usually do this in person, but these days online becomes quite the thing. But we hope next year we'll be back in person and possibly this fall.
Yeah.
But I wanted to start out by telling you, if you've owned a home since 2012, your home in 2020 was up by 43%. And that means your home investment is growing. It's a great investment. This is still an area where we love home ownership, and we take a lot of pride in our home ownership. And that's today we want to talk about, the things that you can do if you decide to sell your house. Should this be the year you're going to sell? We're going to talk to our home owners and how they can benefit when they sell their house. So to start out, I'll give you a couple of boring statistics, but I think they're worth saying. I gave a report just a couple of weeks ago that said we are down 27% year to date on our number of sales. And I really don't think that's because we don't have buyers out there. I think that's because we don't have inventory out there. So January and February, we were down 27% on the number of homes sold. And that can be a good thing if you want to sell a house. Also, I want you to know what the average price right now in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we'll show you a bunch of other areas, but the average price has risen over the years to a staggering, in my opinion, because I remember when it was much lower, to $428,000. That's our average sales price, which is really, really amazing. But as you look at these other areas, and we serve a 7-county area, you'll see that Cary's average sales price is actually $514,000. And you'll see all the different markets that we serve. There's quite a few, and every single market has a different average sales price. So that's something for you to know about. The other things that I wanted you to know is that the average days on the market is actually, Desiree, you just gave me an average days on the market.
It says 21 over the entire triangle, Marty, and that would be in February.
It'll be in February, but our average days on the market for the Marti Hampton team is 9 days on the market. And so we'll tell you some of the secrets and some of the ways that we're able to sell houses as quickly as we do and for over list price. And by the way, we sell 71% of our houses over list price. So that's a good thing. Good. So I want to talk to you about just the attitude of the market. We all know it's a great seller's market, and just trying to be humorous, we said Bugs Bunny can even sell a house in this kind of market. Donald Duck, Minnie Pearl, whatever. It doesn't take a genius to sell a house in a market like this. But let's think about that statement. Let's think about that statement really, really deeply, because does Bugs Bunny have a big Google footprint? Is Bugs Bunny going to take the time and spend the money to get you every single offer to consider out there? We just went through a deal where we had, I think in 2 days, we had it was 175 showings, and there was 60 something offers. And I want to tell you that it takes a lot from the agent to go through those offers, to strategically figure out which one's got the real proof of funds, what the strong points of those offers are. Will they really go to closing? To check out the lenders, because there's a lot of things about lenders we need to be wary about. And so I don't think that Bugs Bunny does the job when it comes to getting you the best price and the best terms. So let's talk about frustrated buyers. You had any frustrated buyers out there lately?
Oh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to go ahead?
Money. Yeah. I mean, they're making offers on one house after the other and just not winning the bidding war. And that is frustrating.
What do you think that is?
It's going to take a lot to win in this market, Marty. We have investors coming into our market, bidding over asking, just like everyone else. We've got cash offers coming in from the West Coast and the Northeast, and our poor local folks are just being outbid.
That's a true story. And I think it's harder for those of us that have lived in the Triangle for the past 10 years to really adjust to the new market of the flood of people that are moving to this area. But also, Desiree mentioned something that's a hot button with me, and that's investors. And I want to talk to you about investors and investor offers. And what is an investor offer? How can you tell if an offer is from an investor?
Usually it'll be an LLC, or they'll just whoever the buyer is, it will be on the offer to purchase. And you can tell quickly that way. Normally, an investor is going to want to give a very small due diligence. Now, they will try to justify that by asking for a very small period of due diligence time. Okay, but I'm always of the thinking, if an investor will offer you this, what will a buyer offer you? So that's how I look at it.
I do too. And of course, there's some known investors out there in our market. They advertise as investors. There's Open Door, there's OfferPad. There's some others out there that are strictly investors. And you can tell also when you look at their sales, because of course we can look at the sales. We can look at their sales, how many they've sold on the listing side, how many they've sold on the buyer side. And when you see somebody that's very, very light on the buyer side, that ought to have a red flag.
Absolutely.
That means they don't have anything to work with. So let me ask you this, just in the long term, let's look at let's think about the home as the American dream. You know, I've been in real estate for over 30 years. I love real estate. You know, most of America's wealth, believe it or not, is in the family home.
Correct.
The family farm, whatever. So when an investor buys a house and when a home buyer buys the house, what happens to the house? What happens to the neighborhood?
Exactly. I mean, the first thing that's going to happen is that the home could sit out there for a long period of time because the investor is trying to make the profit margin that he's wanting to make. So anytime you get an investor that's willing to offer you to buy your home, he's going to turn right around and put it on the market for a substantially higher price than what you just sold it to him for. So if in fact he turns around and sells that, you've left a considerable amount of money on the table potentially. That's
very true. But there's also the invest and hold investors, and they hold for longer term. But I'm really thinking more about the neighborhoods. I'm thinking more about the community. When you see a home and it's owned by a homeowner, and you see a home that's held by an investor, which one is kept up better?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know, there's actually some rules in certain neighborhoods that they kept the percentage of people, investors that can go into that neighborhood very low, because they know exactly this. They know that when an investor owns a home, there's no pride of ownership. There's less, you can't say no, but let's say there's less pride of ownership.
Exactly.
There is. They're renting it out, and a renter's not going to take care of a home the way a homeowner will.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So Bugs Bunny might could get the house sold, but we do a lot more when it comes to protecting your interest, protecting your equity in the family home. And I'm really, really concerned about that for the next generation. If you want to know the truth about it, I'm very concerned about what they're going to have to buy, how they're going to get into a house. And frankly, I don't want us to become California,
no.
You know, where the entry house is really up to close to $1 million. So I think it's a real time to take a deep look at this market. This is a rare time in our market. I've been in real estate, like I said, going on 40 years, and this is the strongest and the longest seller's market I've ever seen. And usually the rule of thumb is, believe it or not, a balanced market is 6 months worth of inventory. We haven't had 6 months worth of inventory since way before COVID. So we definitely are starved for inventory. So when it comes to, should I sell this year? If you've got a home, if you don't want to go anywhere, you should not sell. You should hold on to that great investment. But if you've got a plan, I don't know, 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, maybe to retire to the beach or to retire to the mountains or whatever, this might be a good time to take advantage of an extreme seller's market.
Absolutely. When you mentioned a really good point, Marty, moving to the beach or to the mountains, A lot of these people that are moving into our area with Google and Apple coming
Right.
are folks that are going to be buying a beach house and a mountain house. So if you're looking to buy a beach house or mountain house right now, you might want to jump on that and sell your house here in the Triangle.
Yeah, basically, if you're not in your final home, if there's going to be a change in the next 5 years, you need to consider this market, because we've never seen anything like this market. So Ward, tell us about, can you sell a home as is in this market?
Oh, you absolutely can sell it as is. And in fact, a lot of the times the buyers are bringing that as part of their offer to just get under contract. There's an addendum that they will attach to the offer to purchase, and it plainly says two things. Basically, there's an appraisal addendum in there, just meaning the buyer is saying he doesn't care if it appraises for contract sales price. He's going to buy the house regardless of the appraised value. And then the other big one is, like you mentioned, buying it as is, which gives the seller no responsibility regardless of what's wrong with the house, what needs to be done to the house. Of course, there's a little gray area there. If the seller misrepresented, there's stipulations to that. But as a whole, an as is almost a daily occurrence in this market.
Right. It really is.
For sharp buyers agents not to present an offer without an as is addendum, shame on them in this market.
Shame on them for sure. I tell you, I've heard recently about buyers visiting the home with the inspector with them. Have you heard this? That's a slick move.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a
slick move, but I think in this competitive market, it could also scare a buyer away.
It could.
Yeah.
It could. Desiree, why should you bother with fix up in a market like this?
Right.
Well, as is, it's got two aspects of it. One is, of course, repairs that need to be done to a home. And if there are known repairs, you have to disclose them, as Ward was saying. But then as is can also mean cosmetic updates. So do you sell your home as is in that market? You can sell your home as is. You can. But if your home has some updates to it, that's when the true bidding war starts. People fall in love with the house, and there's so many buyers out there bidding now against homes that you will get top dollar.
And we just rolled out our new concierge service at
did.
Marti Hampton Real Estate. And I actually visited a house yesterday that you and Stephanie upgraded. And I wouldn't say that the house was in disrepair. It wasn't. It was more decorative than anything else. But oh my goodness, what a change.
Oh, huge change. Very dark house. 90s, and just needed some lightning, some spark. We always put some lipstick on it, but it looks great now. It looks fabulous.
I think you did more than lipstick on it. Every room, just every turn that I took in that home, I just felt fresh. I felt incredible. So I think that's an awesome thing to know about, that we actually will finance your home if it needs some freshening up. And we do have a staging consultation as part of our service. And our stager is tremendous. She'll go through every single room and she'll give you ideas. And you can do those ideas yourself. Or if it's something that you don't want to do or you don't have the capacity to do, we can talk to you about financing that for you. So how about the next thing is, how in the world do you set a price in this market?
It's almost to the point where you slide the listing agreement across the table and tell the seller to put the price they want. It's almost to that point. But you start off with comps, a CMA, and you try to find like properties. And the truth is, if you price the house right in this market, there's a 99% chance that you're going to get in a bidding war and you're going to get multiple offers. So I think the most important thing is not to price it too high and let the market take control of the closing price. Would you agree with that, Desiree?
Absolutely, Ward. And I think though that buyers are well educated, so pricing it right in the market is key to that frenzy. The feeding frenzy.
I think another thing that we do now that we probably didn't do as much before all this bidding started is we pay attention to the homes that are under contract. We try our best to find out
Right.
what happened on those homes, because
Exactly.
it's a shame if one would come on and it sold for, let's say, 50,000 over list price and we didn't know about it. So we
Mm.
have to take things like that into consideration. We also have to take the appraisal and the type of loan that is coming in. So
Absolutely.
it's a little bit different if you've got 5% down than a 10% down, and the lender is important. I've had so many as a listing agent, strong listing agent over the years. I've had a lot of people that have brought me offers that had a pre-qualification letter, and a pre-qualification letter is just not worth the paper it's written on in this market. You need to have full approval, and that's what your agent needs to be up to date on. They also need to know the lenders. Frankly, there's online lenders that are pretty liberal about giving out loan approval letters, which are always got an out to them, by the way. So it really helps if your agent knows the lender and has done business with the lender before, because if they do, they know, does this lender close on time? Does this lender give out pre-approval letters easily? Or is this something I can really count on?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, being fully approved is key in this market, because only then can you compete with cash offers.
Right. So get Bugs Bunny to sell your house. Bugs Bunny may show up with an online lender that says your buyer is approved, but what you don't know is the week before closing, the lender says, we can't close on time, or we've got delayed, or we found something out in this loan that we're not going to be able to make it. So it's really, really important that your agent know the lending business as well as the real estate business. Now, let's talk about how we use Coming Soon Homes to advantage our homeowners so that we can get the best price and the best terms for their house.
Absolutely. Coming Soon is one of my favorite topics. And so basically what Coming Soon does for me as a listing specialist is, by the time I get the listing agreement signed and I come back to my office, within hours, that property is going to start being marketed throughout the United States and some parts of Canada. Well, anywhere anybody can get on Coming Soon. So our average views, it just depends on the property, but there are over 1,000, somewhere in the 1,000 range, and even higher per house that we put on Coming Soon. So the great thing about it on our side of it, which the sellers don't see, is it's an interactive web page. So if a potential buyer logs on to Coming Soon, one of our agents is going to greet that potential buyer and start trying to turn that potential buyer into a buyer. This is why we sold, I don't know, how many homes did we sell sight unseen?
51.
We've sold 51 houses this year sight unseen. And guys, that is from exterior photos. That's only from the exterior shots that we take while we're on the listing appointment. So it's a tool that I love, that I have as a listing agent with Marti Hampton, and it pays huge dividends to our sellers.
It does work. And especially for those sellers who really don't want to show the house to the public, have their reasons for not opening the door to showings, accepting an offer during a Coming Soon phase is it's key.
Well,
yeah.
Think about it. There's no showings. You don't have to leave your home. You don't have to get up on a Friday evening when you're getting off work and go hang out at a restaurant for 30 minutes while another buyer wants to see your house. So it's a win-win situation. And what we're seeing with the buyers that are willing to make an offer sight unseen, is how we refer to it, is those buyers are, for whatever reason, and are in a desperate mode.
Yeah.
They've been beat up out here in this market. They've lost 3 or 4, maybe sometime more offers. They've been beat out. And so now they've been educated and they're willing to put their money where their mouth is, so to speak. So I've seen some phenomenal offers come over without ever showing the house.
Absolutely. I have too. And another thing we do a professional appraisal floor plan for every single one of our listings. And this protects our sellers because we are held to accurate information on square footage. So we have that there. And we do take pictures of the outside of the house if there's a pretty kitchen or if there's a pretty fireplace, we might give them a glimpse.
Sure.
Think about coming soon, like a movie trailer. They tell you about this movie that's coming and it's going to be on the theaters in 2 months, and they show you all the action parts. They show you all the really good parts, and you just can't wait to go see it. It really goes into the American psyche that we like what's coming next more than we like what's here now.
That's true.
Absolutely.
So I love that. An old saying in real estate is you want to be, what is this? The first child, the second wife, and the third realtor. The reason for that is because you've got to keep it fresh. And that's what we do in Coming Soon. And so when you take that period of time and use the full extent to warm up the crowd, and then you get every single offer out there. And it's a big job in this market. I mean, you're talking 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 offers. And it really takes a lot of concentration to go over those offers. Here's a pile right here that's 10% down, Mr. Seller. Here's a pile right here that's 20% down, Mr. Seller. And here's a pile right here that are cash offers. Well, of course, your cash offers, you go through that first, but then you want to compare them to the 20% down. Do you know the lender? There's so much cross-checking to do for the agent to do correctly, and it won't be done. What is that saying you always say, Ward?
How many offers are you willing not to see?
Yeah.
As a seller.
How many offers are you willing not to see as a
Absolutely.
seller? And honestly, we told every single one of our sellers where we sold the house sight unseen, hey, let's wait. Let's wait till we go on the market the first weekend, because we've warmed up the crowd. Not everybody will make a sight unseen offer, but we had about 25% make a sight unseen offer. So it is, if you don't want to show your house, maybe you even want to just test the market.
That's right.
You could take 30 days and test the market. We'd be able to see the reaction from the buyers out of our 50,000 strong database. And we'd be able to come back to you and say, hey, maybe we've got an offer for you, or hey, we've had 1,000 showings and we've had a lot of agents calling me, asking me about when we're going to open the doors. I think we're either going to get over list price. We'd be able to give you strong feedback before you ever open your doors, and you could test the market with Coming Soon Homes. So,
And that's a good way to describe it, Marty. On Coming Soon, every potential buyer that looks at your property is like having a showing with none of the inconvenience.
None of the inconvenience. Yeah. None of the inconvenience. And that's what we want nowadays. Oh, I got to talk about the Marshmallow Story. The Marshmallow Story. Let me go back to my plan between the investor buying your home and a homeowner buying your home. Okay. Why was there an onslaught of investor bought homes in our area last year? And I'm going to tell you why. It's got to do with the Marshmallow Story. You can look this up on YouTube, but this is where they take, let's say they take 3 kids, except instead of us, they've got 5-year-olds, and they put them in a room, and the teacher comes in, they put one marshmallow down in front of each one of the kids. And they say, okay, children, you've got this marshmallow here. But if you wait 10 minutes without eating this marshmallow, I'm going to put 2 in the place of 1. You can just see those kids. You need to look up this video, because those kids they're doing everything but sniffing and licking it. And that's the power of now. So if I told you, hey, you could get $375,000 for your home, and you had an investor come in and say, I'll give you $300,000 right now. The power of now is getting homeowners to give away real money. I'm not talking $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. I'm talking $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 by taking an investor offer rather than waiting. So don't get swayed. You need to use the power of time. And that's what Coming Soon Homes does so well. It basically uses the power of time and builds up that anticipation so much that you squeeze everything out of the most unique market that we've had in 60 years.
Absolutely.
It wasn't that long ago, folks, that the shoe was on the other foot, so to speak. We had a crushing buyer's market in 2012, that's 10 years ago. Crushing buyer's market. I remember buyers looking at 150 homes. I remember sellers making reverse offers to the buyers. You came and saw my house and it was priced at $525, Desiree, but I'll make you an offer of $495 if you'll take it today.
I don't know, Marty.
And throwing in wash
Dryers, lawnmowers,
Yeah.
anything they could throw.
Vacations
Yeah.
to the Caribbean.
Yeah. Whatever they had to do to get under contract.
I know, it's really, really funny. So Bugs Bunny doesn't offer you all the services that a really professional agent such as ourselves will do for you. We're going to go the distance to make sure that you've got the best offer in this market. We've got a digital footprint. We're on radio, we're on TV, we're on social media, but most of all, we're in this business for homeowners and for the American dream, and to be able to have your wealth protected when you sell your home with us. So I hope some of this has been, we got some tickets to give away, but I'm going to answer a couple of questions. Hang around for a few more minutes. We're going to give away tickets to, let me see what this is.
The Trolls.
Yes.
Sing and dance.
Sure, I know what they are. Is this a list of questions? Let's go over these,
Yeah.
make sure we've offered it. So why do I need a real estate agent when the market is so darn good?
Negotiations. The
Mhm.
devil is in the details.
Mm,
Okay. And you've got to have somebody that's in this business like we are to weed through the so-called offers and get to the meat and bones of it. There are people that want to be buyers, and then there are real buyers in this market. And that's what a real agent is going to bring, someone that's out here in the trenches doing this day in and day out. You need an agent.
You need an agent that's a real agent, not Bugs Bunny.
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
So when is the best time to sell my home?
Right now,
now would be a
there's
good
no time like today. It's the best market, lowest inventory, lowest interest rates historically ever. And there's no better time to sell your home because who knows what 6 months from now will bring. We just don't know.
You know, I gotta add on to that. You know, I've been studying these numbers. I've got a report somewhere around here where I've followed this market for probably, well, I don't know, 30 years. I've been tracking numbers. And my theory has always been that the highest point that you're going to get an offer is about 5 days after tax day, which is April 15th,
Mhm.
up until the second week in June. If you haven't sold it by the end of June, you're probably in a little bit of trouble as far as the largest amount of home buyers being in the market. So our coming soon matches that perfectly because we're at we're mid-March right now. And so by the time we come out and list your home, we're going to be right after April 15th, which is tax day. Believe it or not, the market actually slows down a little bit for the government for us to pay taxes. So I think you're right on chart within the next week to 10 days as being the height of the market.
Mhm.
And that's not to say that the rest of this year is not going to be great. It is going to be good. But if you're a numbers person like me and you really dissect this market, this is the run. This is the magical mile. So we talked a little bit about it, but I've got this question. How do you go about pricing my home in this market? We talked a little bit about that. We still use comps.
We still use comps, but we look forward as well because the market's appreciating. And so we can anticipate that the market is appreciating. And with homes turning as quickly as they are, it is hard. It's sometimes hard to price, but you need to be at market because remember, buyers are looking at Zillow and Realtor.com for what they think that house is worth. And that's key. They don't want to see it overpriced because then they'll be afraid to lose that bidding war because they know that every home is going to have a bidding war.
Exactly.
All right. How long will it take to get my home ready to sell?
Well, that's a good question. And one of the benefits on coming soon is that we can stay on coming soon before we actually put your home on the market for up to 30 days.
Mhm.
Now, 30 days is a long time to get a lot of things done. So it takes a lot of pressure off of our sellers. In the background of that, of course, we're offering any assistance we can with our carpenters, painters, all the people that we might have to bring into the house to get this completed in a timely manner.
Mhm.
So how long will it take you to get your home ready to sell was the question, correct?
Yep.
How much work does the house need?
Right.
But we can get it done for you, or we can assist you in getting it done rapidly.
Well, the next two questions I think we've answered a little bit. What if my home is not ready for showings? That would be handled during the coming soon period.
Mhm.
And then how much needs to be done to my home before putting it on the market? And here I want to caution somebody, because what you think needs to be done to your home may be totally different than what we have studied and we know needs to be done to your home. So we're not going to spend money unwisely to tell you to do something that we know doesn't pay you back when it comes to the home sale. So I think that's very important. Stephanie does a good job with that. What if I don't have enough money to fix up my home? Our concierge service will help you do that. And all you got to do is fill out an application. We're glad to talk to you about that. What if I don't want to have any showings on my home? Well, he just answered that. That's a 30-day. You don't have to have any showings at all.
We've got online
Mhm.
showings with all the video, Matterports, professional photography that we have. There's really no need to open the door.
Right. Right.
I sold a house last year to where you had to have 2 appointments. The first appointment was you were allowed to walk around the house and look through the windows. Okay. We sold that house above list price.
I love
So-
it. You had to be a peeping Tom. Is that what you're
Exactly.
telling me? You had to
Exactly.
peep into the windows.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. What is the difference between a pre-inspection and inspection, and why would I do a pre-inspection?
You would do a pre-inspection to simply, what I like to say is to take any ammunition away that the buyer is going to find out about the property. So if the homeowner does a pre-inspection, we can take that inspection and we can do a couple of things with that inspection. We can fix all the major concerns, or we can get estimates for those repairs and
Mhm.
have them ready for the buyers. And then, of course, the best case is to share that with a buyer once you go under contract, in hopes that the buyer doesn't do their own home
Right.
inspection.
Right.
So there's a lot of benefits for a seller to do a home inspection.
I agree. I think it's I've always been a big proponent of knowing what you're selling. And I know people that hadn't been in their crawl space for 20 years. So, what you want to achieve by a home inspection is to stop a deal killer.
Exactly.
And how can you stop a deal killer in a market like this is by not disclosing a major malfunction of the house that repairs. So if you're that kind of person, you need to know what you're selling. I think that's the reason to do a pre-inspection. What's the cost to list my home on Coming Soon Homes?
Nothing.
We did all the work. Do I need to use your vendors to get my home ready to sell?
You don't have to. You can use your own. We have some great vendors that our clients love using and have used for years. They are decently priced, but you are welcome to shop or use your favorite.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What are the most common home remodels that produce the highest value?
Paint, flooring, countertops, curb appeal.
Absolutely.
Curb appeal. Big fan of curb appeal.
Those are great. Paint is the cheapest thing you can use to cover up the most mess. That's awesome. Do you offer rental services for those needing to buy and sell?
We can definitely help you find a rental property. Absolutely. Yep, we'd love to.
Well, the other
of that coin is too, is in this market, is that it's quite common to get a lease back option from the buyer.
Mhm.
I've got a house under contract right down here off of Rock Creek, and the sellers are actually leasing back the house. Scratch the word lease. They're staying free in the house for 60 days
I know.
after we close.
I know. We just, the offer I was just talking about that
Right.
had so many. I mean, that was we make known to, let's say, for example, you take our advice and you put your house on the market in the next week, but you really don't want to move out until September. We make that known to the buyers that make the offer. So they know that's an edge. We just made an offer. One of my agents just made an offer and they wanted to stay for 60 days. And I said, absolutely. They're telling you something. They're telling you something that you want. So this is the kind of market that you can sell a house that backs up to power lines. I've sold houses where you went out the back door and it was down a ditch like this. This is the kind of market that you can sell a house you can't sell at any other market that's out there. So this is the way to navigate and close when you want to. Let's end it up. Do you offer relocation services if moving from the triangle to another area?
Yep, EXP has a relocation service that we provide.
And we have belonged to a group where we are fast moving professionals in almost every city in this nation. So I know we can find somebody that's really set up to serve you well in your destination city. So the last question, what are some of the biggest pitfalls of selling right now?
Pitfalls. Ooh, there aren't many. I guess getting too much money for your house, Marty.
Honestly,
Probably is it selling it so fast.
It is.
You know, that's, you know, an average closing is a 45-day window, but you're going on the market, you're having multiple offers the first day that you're on the, you know, and the world really starts moving fast. So of course we try to prep our sellers and our clients and just take care of the stress and slow it down as much as we can.
Yeah. I think slowing down is a great advice. Slow down when negotiating, wait for all the offers that are out there. I tell you a pitfall you can fall into with, if you list your house with Bugs Bunny, is somebody that doesn't know how to use an appraisal addendum and the house doesn't appraise and the buyer doesn't have enough money to close. Or you could fall into somebody that basically the buyer is really not approved. They look good on paper, right, but basically they give you a high number, but then they're trying to get approved. So you can get in a lot of trouble with Bugs Bunny as your agent. So don't do that. Call us and be safe.
Or just liability. You're trying to sell your own house, just not knowing how much paperwork is involved and disclosures and what to disclose. And yeah, you can get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's not it. But we're here to help you make the most money when you sell your home, to give you great advice, to not spend money unwisely and tell you how to do things that really are not going to increase the value or increase the offers on your house. And we love doing what we do. We love the American home. We love the American dream. And just my final plug one more time, don't sell your home to an investor. There's way too many buyers out there that want to give you top dollar. Please think about your community, think about the next generation, and sell your home to a home buyer. Okay, I'm giving away 4 tickets to the Trolls, Universal Pictures of Trolls. Do I have a winner? Who is my winner? Wait a minute, I'm getting the winner. Hang on, guys. Jennifer Harrington,
Hey.
you win 4 tickets. Thanks for coming by, guys. Thank you for spending some time with us and learning about selling your home. We hope to do this in the fall and have it live. We want to see your face. We look forward to it. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye-bye.